yet, but I could see someone getting in my mom's closet, like freaking out, jumping over stuff because he destroyed our house. And he jumped over a big pile of clothes trying to get into the closet, into my mom's closet. And this is when I stepped away because I could tell it was a man. When he had to jump over the clothes pile, I saw his leg, like this part. Hola, hola, my sunshines. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to do a story time today. I am kind of keeping it quieter, boys, just because everyone in this house is sleeping. I like to film at nighttime sometimes when I'm like have anxiety and stuff. So here I am, and I'm going to do a story time on a couple weeks ago when I walked into someone like in the middle of robbing. I've been wanting to do this video for a while now, and there's a couple reasons why. Mainly is because there's a bunch of like key points that I want to encourage people to do if they're ever in this situation. And two, like, it's just, there's a lot of reasons why I can't get it, like it weighs so heavy on me, and I just feel like I just need to get it out there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just jump right into the video, and hopefully you guys enjoy. Here we go. Okay, so the time framing of all this happening is actually really crazy and scary, and it doesn't make sense, and I'm still trying to make sense of it all. But a couple weeks ago, me and my husband and kids were staying the night at my friend's house, animal sitting. My mom does live with me, so we weren't leaving our house unattended. Well, the next day, I send my husband to our house to get some clothes for us for the weekend, you know, just some supplies, whatever. Well, he had already went to the house 2 times, and he took our children with him because I was getting ready, and I take a long time to get ready, and he just thought it'd be easier for him and the kids to go rather than the kids stay with me and whatever. And so he went twice because he left something the first time he came back and had to go back, and then the second time he forgot again, so he went back again. And well, when he came back the second time, I realized that he didn't bring my hair straightener or curling iron, and I wanted to do my hair. So we were going back and forth of, well, I'll just go, like he was like, I'll just go again, and I was like, no, I could go because my friend was on her way. And so when my friend showed up, she's like, yeah, I could take you, like it's literally 3 minutes down the road. And so we're just going back and forth on who should go and who shouldn't go. Well, it came to like something inside, like not inside me, because I can't say like I had a feeling right away, but I was just like, I'm just gonna go, it's not that big of a deal, like I'll just go, I'm already almost done getting ready. So me and my 2 friends, and right off the bat, as soon as we pulled into the driveway, something was already off. Like there was a car in the driveway, but no one was in it. And I do have upstairs neighbors, but he knows that I don't like people in our driveway, like in our area. He has his own car back there, so there's no reason for someone else's to in there. And we're on a mutual like respect, like he knows that. So that right away like caught me off because I've never seen the car before or nothing. So that was the first thing that really threw me off, and I was really irritated by that. And I don't know, something about that part made me pay attention to every little detail, and I think it not saved me, but helped me figure out, like, understand that someone was inside my house. But I'm jumping into the story. So yeah, we pull in, no one's in the car, but it's a weird car, and I'm pissed off that it was in. I get out, and me and my 2 friends, like, I thought they were right behind me, but they weren't. But so I get out, and I go to the door, and I notice like it's unlatched and opened, and I was like, okay, maybe my husband just forgot to lock the door back up, and like, I don't know, like was rushing out or something. Like it was off to me, but I was like not thinking anything of it. I thought my husband, like, he was just there 10 minutes before, like literally only 10 minutes before with my children, with my freaking kids. And so I didn't think anything of it. Well, I walk in, and my dog is like aggressive, barking at me, but won't come up to me. And she's not aggressive whatsoever. 2, especially to me or like her family, no whatsoever. 3, she always runs up to everyone that comes through the door. 4, it was an aggressive, mean bark, and I know why she was doing it now, but at first I didn't. So I kept yelling at her, like I was irritated by it, like, Zayla, shut up, like quit barking at me, like it's just me, it's daytime, you could see me, like what's going on? But she like was trying to tell me something. So we have 2 doors, like we have an entry and then like a patio, like an inside patio, and then we have another door that goes into the living room. So I go in through the second door, and right away I saw our recliner chair spinning, as if someone had just sat in it and got up and it started spinning. So right then and there, I was like, someone's in my house. And I was like I thought my friend was behind me, and I was like trying to tell her like, oh, like my mom must have not been like gone to work as early as she said she was going to. Like I'm gonna go look in her room. And I heard stuff rambling around in her room, so I'm like, yeah, my mom must be home. So I go in there, and I could see someone, like I couldn't see his face or the dynamic of his face yet, but I could see someone getting in my mom's closet, like freaking out, jumping over stuff, because he destroyed our house, and he jumped over a big pile of clothes trying to get into the closet, into my mom's closet. And this is when I stepped away, because I could tell it was a man. When he had to jump over the clothes pile, I saw his leg, like this part, trying to get into the closet, and right then and there I knew it was a man's figure. And from that moment on, I was like, okay, it is someone I don't know. He's not here because he's supposed to be here, and I don't know if he has a weapon on him. Like, obviously he's a man, he has more power than me, and I need to remove myself out of like harm way. So I yelled at him, and I was like, you have 5 seconds to get out of my house, or I'm locking you in until the cops get here. And he didn't take that. Like, he didn't say nothing, he didn't do nothing. So I was like, all right, well, I threw a hanger in the closet because I was just mad and angry, so I just threw it. But after I threw it, I just ran out of the house. And something that super eats me up too is I forgot to grab my dog out of the playroom, but like I'll get into like what he did to her later. But so I run out, and I'm like telling my friend, like, you guys, someone's in my house, like someone is robbing my house, like right now, he's in my mom's closet, and da-da-da-da. So I had one friend stand at my front door, my other friend stand at one window on my one side of the house, and me at the other side of the house, so that we could lock him in for as long as possible. And if he tried to get out of either way, we'd either 1, get a picture of him, or 2, not be able to let him out. So I call my upstairs neighbor, and I'm like freaking out because he always comes down and helps me. And I'm like, dude, someone's breaking in my house, like please come help me until my husband gets here, and that, like whatever. And he's like, okay, like I'm in the shower, like I'll be right down. Literally within 45 seconds he came down, and the guy ended up coming into the playroom and trying to open the front door, but my friend had it so tight, like it's like that adrenaline power, like she had so much power that like she was strong enough to keep the door shut. Well, he ended up hitting my dog, and because she was like barking at him like aggressive, and he ended up hitting her, and you could hear him in my house like panicking, trying to get out of the house. He was throwing shit everywhere, he was ripping stuff apart, he like threw my baby's playpen, and I could hear him trying to get out of my bedroom window. So I went up to it and I tried shutting it, but by that time you could just look by his, like, not so much his face, but his body type, like not type, like his body figure, that he was like really angry at that point. And I just got scared, like if I'm in front of this window, he's gonna, like, no matter what, he's gonna break it out and he's gonna get out. So he like flipped it open, and he had one of my tops on from my mom's closet over his head so we couldn't see his face, and he like flew himself out, like back out the window, and landed really hard on his back. And that's a key point of like how I ended up catching him. But he fell really hard on his back, and when he was getting out of the window, literally in my head I was telling myself, Alyssa, his head is covered, you are not able to see any detail in his face. If you focus on the detail of his face, you're not going to get any detail of what he's wearing, the shoes he has on, the stitching of his pants, nothing, because you're too focused on what you can't see. So focus on his stitching of the pants. I paid attention to exactly, like literally, the stitching of his pants, and I paid attention to the shoes he was wearing. He jumped out of my window with slippers on, and the stitching of his pants, he had like a cross on his like butt pocket. The stitching all along the side of his pants were brown, and he had dark skin because I paid attention to his skin tone, and he had a long sleeve black shirt on. but I could not see his face at all. Well, he got out of the window and I just kept chucking rocks at him, but he stood up like really, really meanly to me, and it scared me. And like, I won't put myself in harm, like I just won't do it. And like I said, like I don't know if he had a weapon on him or like anything to hurt me. And so by that time I was like, okay, it's time to step away. And when I stepped away, he took off running, and in 3 seconds of him taking off running, my upstairs neighbor that I called was down, and then he saw him like running from the corner, so him and a couple other like of his friends took off running after him. And my first instinct whenever like something's wrong, something happened, anything, I always call my husband. I don't call the cops, I don't call no one right away besides my husband. So first thing I do is I call my husband. I'm like, Abby, like I just walked in on someone robbing the house. He was in our house, like da 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 da. He just jumped out my window, like screaming at him. And without hesitation, he's like, I'm on my way. He packed all of our kids in the car and was on his way in a matter of seconds. Well, one of the neighbor's friends, like I was panicking really bad, and he's like, you guys call the cops, right? And I was like, no, like I don't know how to do that, like no. And he was like, what, like you need to call the cops? And I'm like, no, like my husband can call the cops when he gets here. And so my neighbor's friend ended up calling the cops for me. And like we're seeing him in the front, this guy, like he's walking around in all my neighbors' freaking yards. And like, so I go into the back to talk to my friend really quick, and I hear my husband honking and like pulling into the back really, really like fast. And he's like, Alyssa, Alyssa. So I ran back there, and then he had this guy like pinned up against his car and the dude's car. And he's like, is this him? Is this him? And I looked at him, and I like ran back there, and like right away I knew it was him. But like I'm smart, like I think ahead. So like when I went up there, I was like, because my husband and the guy were like in each other's faces, and it was scary. My kids were in the back seat of the car. So I was like, turn around and let me see your pants. He's like, what? Calling me the B word and everything. And I was like, no, turn around and let me see your pants. And he turned around, and they were the pants. But I played it off like I didn't know, like it wasn't his pants. And I was like, no, babe, like that's not him, because I knew. By this time I found out that the guy that it was, he was picking up my neighbor's friend, but like it wasn't like they knew or nothing. Like they didn't even know he was pulled up out back yet. But I knew that if I played it off like it wasn't him, that he would go upstairs and not just leave right away and get away. So I was like, no, babe, like that's not him, and da-da-da. And the guy was like, yeah, like what the fuck? And then he was like, oh, what have you guys been up to? And like he looked at my kids in the eyes and was like, oh, you're up to, like, you're just being parents, huh? Like, I don't know, that just is another thing that really sticks to me, is the way he looked at my kids and like was talking to me about him, and it just makes me so mad. But and then another like comment he said was, damn, you guys, like these apartments look so ghetto from the outside, but from the inside, like they're so nice. And it was just irritating. Like he was winded, like I knew it was him. So all the people from upstairs go upstairs, and then the cops came, and then the cops went and got the neighbors to take their statements or whatever. Well, I was like not getting along with the cops, like the sheriff's office, because they were not helping me at all, and they were more acting like I wasn't the victim and I was like the person that did it. It was so annoying. And I was just getting irritated with them because I was panicking so bad. And well, the guy ended up coming down a little bit like later after his friends did, in a completely different shirt. Oh, and I forgot to mention, when like I first saw him with my husband in the back, he had just finished changing his shoes. That was like another key point that I knew it was that stupid ass. So he came down in a different shirt. Well, this time stupid ass had a muscle shirt on, and he had fresh wounds, cuts, and bruises on his back, right where he fell out my window, and they were fresh, and I knew it. So I'm like staring at him while he's like listening to the cops, and he's like looking at his friends, like listening to his friends take their statements, and like you could tell he was scared. And so we like let time go, and they all end up going back upstairs. And like once they went upstairs, I told the cops, like, it's the guy upstairs, this is why I know this is how, like I told them everything that I knew of why it was him. They like shined their lights in his car, and they found the slippers I was talking about, the thing that he put over his head. And he was like, okay, ma'am, like we are calling for backup before we go and get him because we feel like he's gonna run, and then like we're gonna arrest him. And I was like, okay, like, do we need to be here for this? Because my kids are here and I'm done with this situation. Like, can't you just call me? And he told me, yeah. So I went ahead and got my kids out of there, and the cop ended up calling me about like 20 minutes later and was like, we just wanted to let you know that we have arrested him. We do have him in custody. We are pressing robbery charges. We did find his slippers that you were talking about and everything. And I was just so like relieved and happy, because for a minute I was gonna just stop talking to the cops and let go of the situation because I was so frustrated. But then I was like, no, you know what? Like, this sick ass motherfucker was in my kids' home, and that's where this whole thing will not let me rest about it. It was in my kids' home. It was in a room where I always send them to go play in when they're being really loud or obnoxious or whatever, and I'm like, go into Omar's room and watch this. And that's where he was at, and it just makes me feel like, what if my kids were there and he was just hiding in the closet staring at my kids like a sick fucking disgusting ass person? Or like, what if he would have grabbed one of my kids and held them hostage? Like, I don't know. I think about every scenario in my head because it scares me so bad, and it bothers me so bad that it was where my kids are supposed to feel safe and supposed to lay their heads down at night to go to sleep. Take whatever you want from me. Material things aren't shit. Like, I don't care about them. I don't care what you have, like, wanted to take. Rob my car, go steal my car and wreck it. Like, I don't care. But it was my kids' home, and that's where I lose sleep over every night, because I replay it every night in my head of how it could have gone differently or worse. Like, if Abby would have came in, like, I think the guy thought twice about rampaging after me because I was a girl in the house. But I feel like if it was my husband, like, I don't know. I just think of every bad scenario ever. I'm not going to talk about court stuff and everything just because it's not really me that's pressing charges anymore. It's the property. But my main thing for this video is, like, no matter if you're in panic, if something crazy is happening, pay attention to detail and trust your fucking feeling. Like, trust your gut and pay attention. When something doesn't feel right, when something doesn't look right, when something's out of place, pay attention and observe everything. And if you're ever in this kind of situation, look at detail. Look at the stitching of his pants. Look at the colors on his skin. Look for scars. Look for rings. Look for jewelry. Because I'm really proud about exactly how I handled the situation every time. Because I wouldn't have caught him if I paid attention to, if I was just such in a panic and paying attention to his covered face, or didn't pay attention to the shoes or the stitching or the fresh wounds on his back or anything like that. And yeah, it has me very on edge, very scared. I have to sleep with my kids in my room now, right next to me. Like I said, like, I get really bad anxiety about it now when I'm trying to lay down and sleep, and so I will have to, like, get up and make myself start doing something. That's why I'm filming right now, because if not, like, I will drown myself in anxiety and of scenarios that could have happened, that could have gone worse, that, like, what if I didn't catch him? Like, what if he was just in there like a sick bastard and just chilling while my kids are playing? Like, I don't know. I just think of everything, and it's really scary, and it shouldn't happen. And those, like, it's so ugly to do stuff like that. And especially when he walked in and the first thing he saw was a playroom where he knew that kids were there. And yeah, that's all. That is all I have for this story time. Like I said, it's nothing like funny. It's nothing with much more detail. But I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed this story time. And let me know down below if you like these story times, because I like to do them. And please give this video a thumbs up for me and my family being okay and safe. That's all that freaking matters to me. It's my kids being safe. And yeah, I'll be back with more videos. Thank you. Bye.